Right, I call the September board meeting to order. Roll call, Mr. Rizar.
Here.
Ms. Conforti.
Here.
Mrs. Hurst.
Here.
Mr. Rivas.
Here.
And myself, Mr. Cabral here. Item number 2, public communication closed session items. Any member of the audience desiring to comment on a closed session item may do so. When the board president asks for public comments, please step to the podium and state your name. It would be appreciated if you would limit your comments to 3 minutes. Per board policy BB 9323, individual speakers may be allowed 3 minutes to address the board on each agenda or non-agenda item. The board may limit the total time for public input on each item to 20 minutes. With board consent, the president may increase or decrease the time allowed for public presentation depending on the topic and the number of persons wishing to be heard. The president may take a poll of speakers for or against a particular issue and may ask that additional persons may speak only if they have something new to add. At this time, does anybody have anything for the board for closed session items? All right, seeing none. We'll head to closed session at 5:02 p.m. All right, we'll call the September meeting back in session. We have the flag salute by our Beyond the Bell students tonight. So if you guys want to come back up, step up to the podium, use a microphone, lead us in the pledge, or you can use the podium. Yeah, that's fine. Ready? What is the flag? Oh.
Ready, salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic of which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Item B, report out of action taken in closed session. The board voted 5-0 to approve the terms of resignation agreement with a classified employee. Item number 5, public communication agenda and non-agenda items. Any person wishing to comment on agenda and non-agenda items may do so now. Please step up to the podium, state your name. It would be appreciated if you would limit your comments to 3 minutes. California law prohibits the school board from taking action on any matter which is not on the posted agenda unless it's determined to be an emergency by the board. Per board policy BB 9323, individual speakers may be allowed 3 minutes to address the board on each agenda or non-agenda item. The board may limit the total time for public input on each item to 20 minutes. With board consent, the president may increase or decrease the time allowed for public presentation, depending on the topic and the number of persons wishing to be heard. The president may take a poll of speakers for or against a particular issue and may ask that the additional persons speak only if they have something new to add. At this time, does anybody have anything to address the board? No. All right, item number 6, approval of agenda. Can I get a motion to approve the agenda as listed? Thank you, Ms. Conforti. Second.
I'll second it.
Thank you, Mr. Bazar. Mr. Bazar? Ms. Conforti?
Aye.
Ms. Hurst? Mr. Rivas?
Aye.
And myself, Mr. Cabral, votes aye 5-0. Item 7, information discussional items. Item number A, Beyond the Bell. Pardon me, because I'm probably gonna mess this up. Bali Folklorico showcase of 2024 and program update.
Good evening, everybody. Thank you for letting us come and show off a little bit. I'd like to introduce the Beyond the Bell supervisor, Juana Sedano Villegas, who has taken the Baile program from just a little starter package to all the programs serving nearly 200 kids every single week with cultural, music, and dance instruction by the beloved Olivia Rodriguez. So, Juana, let's have you introduce your program.
I wanted you guys to hear it from our students themselves, so I won't speak too long up here. I just wanted to say how proud I am of the whole team, the instructors and the, learning instructors who are one day possibly could be instructors as well. So we're super excited and proud of this program. Just the fact that it's reaching so many students in our district, and the parents love it, and it's amazing and for our community. So I just, I'm super proud. All right, so now I would like to introduce two of our instructors, because that's really what they are. Frida and Giselle, they are our two high school tutors who also help with baile. They assist our two other instructors to help teach baile. So I'll let them go ahead and continue.
Hello, my name is Giselle Veronica. I'm a senior at Oristemba High School, and I've been doing baile folklorico for about 6 years.
Hello, my name is Frida Abrego. I'm currently a junior at OHS, and I've been dancing for around 2 years.
So we decided to join this program and be dance instructors because this would look really good on our resume. And throughout this process, we've exposed each student to the culture of the dance.
While being dance instructors, we've seen our students grow not only by communicating with each other, but also their confidence has grown.
During each performance, we've noticed how each student has been very eager to show their parents not only the dances that they've learned, but how they look in their costumes.
Most students before this were really shy, not very outgoing, but after joining baile, they got more connections and more friends.
So not only do we teach them how to dance, but we also teach them the history behind each dance. And for me, this job has showed me and given me the opportunity and insight on a potential future job or goal that I have. So which is having my own studio as a dance instructor.
Before this, I was unsure of what career I would want to take part in, whether or not being an FBI agent or a teacher, but this has given me experience and knowledgement of what I want to choose.
So today I want to welcome one of our 6th grade students from Yellow Middle School, Anthony, and our 5th grade student from Hunt Elementary, Yareni. And today they're going to be dancing some traditional dances. And
Please welcome with a round of applause, please.
So to wrap up that amazing performance, I just wanted to say thank you to our two students who were so brave when I came with a crazy idea and I was like, can you please, perform in front of a bunch of people? I know it's a little scary, but they were brave and they accepted and they did an amazing job. So good job, guys. Well, that is our Baile Folklorico program. I hope you guys learn to love it as much as we do. So thank you.
How long does it take you to learn the footwork? It was amazing, both of you. Especially the young men, because young men don't usually, at least I don't see them dancing too often.
You want to come and answer? Come on, Yadi, come.
I mean, I'm so wrong.
Go ahead. How long does it take?
Well, it took us some time to learn all the steps, but from day to day that we got to dance, we put the effort into it and we learned all the passes and tried to do it right by encouraging ourselves to keep going.
I have. Do you keep the same partners or do you change partners? Well, right now, that would be easier.
And kudos to the two instructors here from the high school. I mean, I would have just lifted my foot once and been in the floor. So that was absolutely beautiful. And thank you for sharing it.
Thank
Item number 7B, our student board report from Vinicia Morales.
hello, everyone. I hope everybody has a good day. So bear with me. There's a little bit too much going on right now. So
we wrapped up the first month back at, from break and things got by like really fast, super quick, but a lot has happened. Our sports officially have started. We just finished our club rush from last week, which went on for 3 days. And each club got to the opportunity to have their own stand and their own signups, including our new club called Adventure Club, which this club is really cool. It allows students to go on hikes to different places. They've already trailed Point Lobos and Pinecrest with the supervision of Mr. Corey Fauber. So this club has recruited a lot of members so far. They seem to be pretty filled. We have held our our FFA team has held their back to school fiesta last week or on the 26th of August. And I believe activity members were allowed to receive activity points for attendance. So a lot of people showed up for that as well. We had a high percentage in participation for our rivalry dress up days. Monday was frat versus sorority. Tuesday, twin day. Wednesday, dress like a teacher / student. Thursday, West Coast versus Wild West, and Friday, spirit wear. Both students and staff members did a pretty good job. They were amazing. Like they were perfect, like replicas of each other. Our homecoming theme was finally announced, which was animated movies, and each class also got to pick what animated movie they want to do to go by their float. Our seniors picked Minions, our junior class picks Mario Smash Bros, our sophomores picked Inside Out, and our freshmen picked Spider-Man. Finally, we had some classes run booths at the Fall Festival, one being a senior class running a water booth, and any leftover drinks and like food and snacks would go to staff members for free and just be available. We had our cross-country team go and pick up the next day. And then finally, we had our cheerleading team walk in the parade again. They were beautiful. As for sports, we have officially started football season. We had an amazing first win against our rivals, Gustine. Our final varsity score being 56-12, and our JV being 46-0. Our girls volleyball team held their annual home tournament in which they broke a record of being first place in the first time in history. And then our cross-country team has also begun their meets along with flag football, who have also had a couple games in the past weeks. On to upcoming events. Our homecoming dance was announced for October 5th. The theme is an animated movie called Coraline. Our back to school night is September 10th, which is tomorrow, and there will be food trucks, and our students will be running some of the booths too. Our classes are discussing the royalty nominees, so they'll be holding discussions on when their meetings and what they want to do, more ideas about homecoming. So hopefully we'll get enough participation for them too. And then finally, our OHS will be having a woven blanket sale on the 20th of September for our music boosters. So that's it. Thank you.
Thank you. Item C, unaudited actuals presentation. Give Edward a second back over there. It doesn't turn on the screen.
Okay, good evening. Unaudited actuals is the summary report for the entire fiscal year of 23-24. This is where all the work that was done during the year comes down to, this is what actually happened. You can plan and budget, but this is where we actually ended up. There we go. So the overview, every year we kind of summarize what went well, what did we accomplish last year. So we ended up with successful negotiations with everyone. We increased the mental health supports across the district, and part of that was through a grant, part of that was through the LCAP. We completed the pool and the tennis courts. In fact, tonight's the first evening of adult swim right now. The tennis court and the entrance project to the high school. And we also went to bed and started construction on the modernization and the new multipurpose room, which is very, very nearly completed. We increased our student attendance rate, which I'll show you a little bit in a couple of slides.
So our challenges for the upcoming year is we're looking at a tough year as far as the cost of living adjustment and what that means in our district. The increase of special education programming costs and the increase in the population. And all of our COVID funding has now been expended. We had to expend everything by September 30th. And we did that, we closed everything out by the end of June. And then our enrollment is still on the decline, just slightly. So from estimated actuals, which we do at budget, when we adopt the budget in June, we were ending for revenue at about 59 million, just under 60 million. When all was said and done, we went just over $60 million. Most of that was through some grants that we were funded for both what we call the We Will grant and a big grant for mental health called SB HIP. That was nearly $1 million between the two of those. So not general fund revenue, but very specific purpose revenue. We also had one other grant that we were awarded, which is called the Golden State Pathway, which is a CTE grant at the high school. So you can see where the money went. You see the money come in, now you see where it goes out. So salaries were 74% of the total budget, restricted and unrestricted. But if you just looked at the unrestricted portion, they were 81%. So about over 3/4 of it goes to compensation. So our ending balance for both restricted and unrestricted dollars was just under 20 million, but over half of that is restricted money, whether it's grant balances, things like that. So a lot of that is not available to use for any kind of salary advancement or anything like that. We did meet our 8%, because our 8% was almost $5 million. I remember years ago, it used to be about 1.7 million. Now it's closer to 5 million. So our reservations is we put aside some money for special education programming. We have needs that come up during the year. We need to be able to provide for those. We're keeping some reserve for facilities, just in case emergencies pop up. We have older facilities. And then we have some instructional materials. We also are working on our retro payments for the settlements. Teachers and management are going out this month in September. Classified has already gotten theirs. So, and then we are looking at transportation, because transportation has increased over last year, but we're also they're not fully staffed at First Student, so we're still having to contract out. So we want to make sure that we provide enough of a cushion to do what we need to do. So we have some other funds outside of just the general operating fund. We have our adult education that we're providing adult classes. And then we have the cafeteria, which was, all of these are in the black. So we do have 3 facility funds. One is the bond funds, one is where developer fees are deposited, and then one is where the state matching funds are deposited. So we have money in each of those accounts. So remaining Measure X funds as of June 30th next year, after the rest of the construction here, the rest of the construction of the Hunt restroom, and I think those are the 2 big projects that are left outstanding. We'll have about $7.5 million of Measure X funds remaining when those projects are completed. So capital projects that we are looking at the completion of the TK and the multipurpose room on the Bond Manor campus. We will be constructing the Hunt restroom facility upon the award of the contract this evening. Beyond the Bell is doing a garden project at 1040, correct? And that's almost done. And then we did some landscape improvements at Von Renner. I don't know if you saw it at the back to school, but it looks amazing. And it really helped that corner of the campus not become forgotten. Now that now the focus is over here, and it's gonna be a great garden, school garden for the students there, right in front of the first grade wing. And then going into planning for phase 2 of the Von Renner improvements, which if we can get Measure S and Measure T to pass, we can move into that phase where we can take out the portables and start planning for a new classroom building there, if that's the board's direction. So then we talk about contributions, and contributions are programs that don't have enough revenue that we get from the state or the federal government to pay for all the expenses that the program incurs. So transportation is getting better, but we had a contract increase with First Student this year. They hadn't increased their prices in 5 years. And so we had to take a little bit of an adjustment going into this year. So our contribution to transportation last year was almost 125,000. The state has also increased the amount of money that they're apportioning for transportation. So it was a little bit less than what we had anticipated. Maintenance and operations is always 3% of the general fund expenditures. So whether or not they spend all of that, we have to allocate that much. So, which is good because the balance will carry year to year. And so some years where we may have a lot more needs than others, then that money is set aside for that. Special education that's the big contribution, because that is $6.3 million in expenditures more than the revenue that we receive. So that's something that Dr. Susan and I are working on, trying to stem the tide. But there are a lot of very intensive students that need a lot of very intensive services, which cost a lot of money. We've done a lot of take backs where we took back some of the intensive programs from the county and from Patterson, so that we are providing those in-house, but it's not necessarily cost effective. It's not a wash. It's a better program for the students to take it back. And the SELPA is really pushing us to move in that direction. If we have enough students to form a program in your district, that's what we should be doing.
Isn't, from looking back at other times, isn't the state and the federal government always late in giving the money back for special ed? Seems like they're always in arrears.
No, it's not really in arrears. It's not fully funded.
No.
So, I mean, we get less than 40%.
They keep giving us the rates, but they don't help us.
Yes, many unfunded mandates. So the last part that I want to look at is the attendance. And so I went back to 21-22, which was the year we came out of COVID, where we were back into school. So we always look at the prior year ADA, which is the percentage of the time that students are in school. And we look at the current year. Now the state has done a process where they could take a 3-year average. So they fund you on the higher of your current year, your prior year, or your 3-year prior year average. So that's why there's all the different numbers, so we can see where we were. So we went from having a funded ADA of 30,066, and now we're looking at probably at last year was 2982 is where we were funded. What the actual ADA was last year was 2940, but because we had this high year in 21-22, that was factored into the average. That 21-22 year falls off out of the average this year. So it'll be based on 22-23, 23-24, and 24-25. So we declined by 88, which is over $1 million in loss, just LCFF funding, not anything else.
Our population decreasing, or is it the students aren't showing up?
Well, it's both. So our actual enrollment, I'll go through that one. So our enrollment in 21-22 was 3155, and now we're down to, now we're at 3183, which is a little bit of an increase. So as long as we're getting the kids to come to school, where you can see in 21-22 that 88% was 97%. Last year was 89%, so it's a big hit. So what it impacts, we have to staff for the enrollment. We don't get to staff for what the ADA is. We have to staff for the ones that are on the books, as if they're gonna show up every day. So that's where we started to bounce back a little bit yet last year with to 92%. So that's a sizable increase from the year prior. But when you're looking at a lower enrollment and a lower participation rate or a lower ADA rate, that's where we start to see the funding decreases. Do you have a question?
Are we still acknowledging schools that have higher attendance in that, both students and teachers? Remember, we used to give the apples or the,
Yes,
we're still doing that, right?
That's September, yeah.
in
Okay.
October.
October.
Yes,
Okay.
I haven't really had enough to judge yet. So that is kind of where we are, and we'll be watching this closely during the year. As time goes on, so the next steps will be looking at the site and the program budget updates. We can budget carryover that's coming. After we fully close. We'll update the LCFF projections based on the actual enrollment. And we'll get the final actual enrollments that we'll base it on in October on Census Day. And then we'll monitor the grant progress. We have some big grants that we need to keep a close eye on this year. They're multi-year projects, and so we'll make sure that we're taking care of those, and then we'll present the next update in December. Answer any other questions from me? Thank you.
Any other questions for Carolyn? No? All right, thank you. Item number 8, the consent calendar. Consent calendar items are routine in nature, usually do not require board discussion. Individual items may be removed by board members and presented for discussion and separate action. The consent calendar will be adopted by a roll call vote. Can I get a motion for the approval of the consent calendar as listed?
So moved. My second.
Thank you. Mr. Razar,
Aye.
Mr. Forty,
Aye.
Ms. Hurst,
Aye.
Mr. Rivas.
Aye.
And myself vote aye as well, 5-0. Item number 9, action items. Item number A is public hearing for textbook sufficiency. I declare this public hearing open at, what time is it?
6:30.
All right, and anybody want to speak on action item 9A? All right. I declare the public hearing closed at 6:31. 6:30. Approval B of resolution number 24-2501 regarding sufficiency of instructional material. Can we get a motion for item number B?
So moved.
I'll second.
Mr. Razar,
Aye.
Ms. Conforti,
Aye.
Ms. Hurst,
Aye.
Mr. Rivas.
Aye.
And myself, Mr. Cabral, 5-0. Item number C, approved resolution number 24-2502-23 to 24 GAN limit. Can I get a motion for item number C?
I'll make that motion. And I'll second that.
Thank you. Mr. Bazar,
Aye.
Mr. Forty,
Aye.
Mrs. Hurst,
Aye.
Mr. Rivas.
Aye.
And myself, Mr. Cabral, votes aye, 5-0. Item D, approved resolution 24-25, number 3, in support of Proposition 2, public education facilities bond measure. Can I get a motion for item number D?
I make a motion for letter D, 242502.
I'll second it.
Thank you. Mr. Bizarre,
Aye.
Ms. Conforti,
Aye.
Ms. Hurst,
Aye.
Mr. Rivas.
Aye.
And myself, vote aye, 5-0. Item number E, approve Harris Builders to bid for the construction of new restroom building at Hunt Elementary School. Can I get a motion for item number E?
I'll make that motion.
I second.
Mr. Bizarre,
Aye.
Ms. Conforti,
Aye.
Ms. Hurst,
Aye.
Mr. Rivas.
Aye.
And myself, vote aye, Mr. Cabral, 5-0. Item number F, approve unaudited actual budget. Can I get a motion to approve
So moved.
item F?
So moved.
I second.
And a second, Mr. Freeman. Mr. Bizarre,
Aye.
Ms. Conforti,
Aye.
Ms. Hurst,
Aye.
Mr. Rivas.
Aye.
Mr. Ramos, aye as well, 5-0. Future agenda items coming up. We have a spotlight at OHS and our ethnic studies. Next up is our superintendent report, Mr. Pruitt.
So during the fall festival, we had the booth to give information about Measure SMT. And I felt what the time that I was there, any of the people that came up to the tent was very positive. They had a lot of good questions, and again, we were just there to hand out information, but they were excited to see two of our oldest schools getting the ability to get some updates to it. So most of the concerns that I saw was the portables at Von Renner. That's really what they would like to see removed from the campus in a new classroom building put it. So that got a lot of people excited. So the other thing is tomorrow night is our last back to school night at Forest Imba at 6 p.m. So hopefully we have plenty of people attending that. Another thing that I was able to do was, I know once a month I go to a superintendent's council for Stanton County. So it's with Mr. Kuykendall, and we kind of discuss things happening in the county. And sometimes that's relevant to us here in Newman, and sometimes it isn't. And so I got in a conversation with the Gustine superintendent, and we're going to start somewhat of our own once a month to meet the West Side superintendents. And then we talked to the Patterson superintendent. He's really on board, and the Gustine superintendent seemed to think the Los Banas superintendent would be interested in that because we share a lot of common issues. And so we're going to kind of have our own West Side superintendent council where we'll meet once a month at the different districts. So that's something that we're looking forward to, and it seems like the other three are excited about that as well. So, thank you.
Our board reports, Mr. Bizarre, you have anything for us tonight?
Oh, yeah, I have a couple of comments. I was, this is going to be one of the last meetings that I attend because I'm not running for re-election. And I was sort of looking back at the numbers. When I joined the board, I think it was 13 years ago, I think our total budget was around $19 million. And now we're at $60 million. So you can see in 13 years, a lot of money has come to us and we've spent a lot of money. In a certain way, it makes you sort of shake your head and go, wow, that's impressive. On the other hand, I would say to the community, I think you can be proud of what we've done with the money. It's hard when you're a community member to know how to evaluate your schools. I mean, one way you can just drive around, and I think if you look at our school facilities, they're very pretty. I think they're prettier now than they were 13 years ago. They're brighter colored, they're newer. We've made some obvious improvements. We've got a brand new pool, we've got nice tennis courts, various other things like that. But you can also, if you have students in school, you can pay attention to what they're doing. But if you don't, you're just going to have to talk to other community members who do have children in school or who've recently had them in school. I had the pleasure to go to a wedding this weekend. Callista Dyke, who's a local Horace Stembaugh graduate, got married here locally. And I saw a number of kids, one of whom was my daughter, who were in her class. But they've actually done very well Now, does that mean that every kid who goes to Oristema is going to go on to, glory? I don't know. Probably not. I mean, a lot of it involves your own work ethic and what you put into it. But I think you can be assured that if you do well in school here locally, you have a real chance to go on to, some of the fancier or bigger name universities and colleges around the state, around the nation. We heard, one of the speakers from last year went on to Notre Dame. We have had people go to Columbia. We've had people go to Berkeley. We've had people go to Stanford. We've had people go to UCLA. I'm not trying to slight any school. And we should be very proud of them. And I hope the people in the community understand that we really do offer something here that will give your child or your neighbor's child the opportunity to be successful. There's no guarantee. Nothing's perfect, but we do a pretty good job. And when I go talk to friends who live in the Bay Area or down in LA, and I say, well, this kid is going here, or that kid has done this, or this is what we offer, they're impressed. We don't have the biggest language program. We don't offer 15 languages. We don't have maybe some of the stuff that huge high schools or school districts offer from LA or San Francisco, but we do offer enough. And I, again, would say that when you look back at our graduates, you can sort of be assured that they have an opportunity anyway to be successful. So that's my editorial. I'll try to be shorter next week or next month.
Thank you, sir.
You did.
Mrs. Hurst?
Oh, that was good. Yeah, yeah. Done that all 13 years.
Mrs. Hurst, you're up.
You're up. Oh, I'm up. Okay. I too am not running after 18 years. I figured that I've done that career after having taught for 25 years and did that career. However, over those years, I have had the pleasure of giving out diplomas and watching students and watching all the activities. One of the best things about the meetings now that we didn't do in the beginning is that we showcased a school and some students at the beginning. And it was being able to start out with something nice. And maybe some things weren't so nice in between, but we started out with something nice. And so it was great. You were talking about Romero. Okay, he's my neighbor. And when he came here in the 4th grade, he didn't speak any English. And he went on and he did the Rotary speech contest and he won. And then he went on to the next level. Didn't win that time, but he went on to the next level. And he's at Notre Dame now. And I really miss him because I would hear the basketball out by the hoop going and going and going. And I would say, Romero's home, so it's really nice. Coming from fire, my husband's a firefighter, but coming from the fire family, we have had so many of our students come through this program and get involved with the explorers and then go on to the fire science program or up to Columbia and become firefighters. And we have one of the most vibrant fire departments right now that we've had in a long time. I have a set of twins that I'm very close to that are in the band. And the band leader I watched grow up and his sister. And they're both drummers, so they've found something that they love. You found something you love through the after-school program, dancing, which is wonderful. So as Mr. Brazar said, we aren't big and we're not in the South of California, but we do offer quite a bit. And I have enjoyed watching all of that. So I know that you're off to a running start here. You haven't gone too far, but it always feels like, oh, we've been here for maybe 3 or 4 months already and we haven't been, but but you're doing a great job. So thank you.
Mr. Rivas?
I don't really have much to say, but I know you three are not, you know. But the new three members that are coming in, they have big shoes to fill. I mean, you guys did this for so long. And, you know, there's candidates out there. And hopefully people get out and vote,
Yep,
you know,
definitely.
go out there and vote in November. And I'm not saying bye to you guys yet, because you guys still have two more things, so,
Yeah, we do.
you know. You guys are off the hook yet.
Yeah.
Ms. Conforti?
The third one who's leaving. 18 years as a board person, 40 years teaching, long time. Education is very important to me, and when I leave, I don't want to leave and not do something. I'm still hoping I can go back to Dr. Seuss, still participating in things. When I came, the district was small, had a lot of problems to begin with, and it's grown. Our children are our most precious natural resource. We cannot let it go extinct. They still have to be children. This district does not look at you like you're a number. You're not number 37. Oh, you did okay. You have a name, you have a place, and that's part of what it means to me to have this district. I watched children go from being kindergarten all the way up to graduating, gone to some of their weddings, gone to some of the showers, seen some of their babies. Makes me feel old. But we've always had a good working board. We allow each other to agree to disagree. And I hope our new members are also the same. And I'm really proud of our staff. They try very hard, and most of the time you don't get the pat on the back. You need it because you work hard. And the west side, or you were on the west side? Yeah, I always mess up the sides. We get lost in Stanislaus County. Everything's done on the other side. So we really have to make sure that they don't forget about us. And they don't, because when we get the, Mrs. Hurst and I went to the, in June, when the students got their multi-language ribbons, and we've probably participated in just about everything and anything, I mean, all the time. So it's important. And when you leave school, think of going on a board. It's important that you're active and that your voice is heard. If you sit there and complain, or if you don't vote, you don't have the right to complain. You have to vote to complain. And it's okay to say, I don't like this. And hopefully you learn that as far as the civics part. And thank you for allowing me to work with you.
Now you've gotten all the advice of the three oldies. All done. John?
All right, I've been here for 47 years. No, I'm just kidding. I don't have much tonight. Like the election's coming up for a lot of numerous important things for us. Our school bonds are on there. You can go to the county website, you can read the information, you can look on your ballot, there's paragraphs of information. There's a lot of flyers, a lot of information that we've been handing out. If you like more, if you know people that would like more, have them stop by. We'll give them some literature on what the money is going to be used for, and stuff like that. So, like everyone up here that's already spoken before me, there is elections coming up for the various open positions. We do have a runoff for 2 of the seats. So if you guys live in that area or zone, please get out, vote, talk to them. They're members of the community just like us. You know, feel them out for some information. What's their topics for our school district and what they can provide for us, you know, before you guys cast your ballot. But most importantly, get out and vote. There's a lot of stuff on there this year that truly that a lot of organizations need, and especially for 2024. A lot of tax measures on there, emergency services, schools, just a lot of good information that, you know, you might not think it's a lot of money or a little bit of money here and there, you know, little small little tax increase here and there. It goes a long ways. And all the organizations that are doing really well for the community, they're struggling. So do your research, talk to people, get online, get on a computer, go to one of our schools if you need to get some flyers for your friends or family, and just provide that information, because we really do need that to actually go forward to provide a better service, right? We do a good job now, but even to go even further and keep doing what we're doing, we need that extra dollar, right? So we do truly use every cent, you know, at least what I support the right way. So, all right, that's all I have for tonight. Meeting's adjourned. What time you got, Frank?
6:47.
6:47 PM. Our next meeting will be October 14th. All right, we'll see you guys later. That'll conclude the meeting.
Nice.